We have more interesting, creepy, up-to-date videos from all around the world sent in by you all that's going to make us question life. Thank you, Titan Slayer, for the next couple of videos.
There's no death certificate. There's no ballistics report. There was no crime scene investigation. There were no paramedics. There were no police swarming it right after. There was a plane that left 30 minutes right after. That was 20 minutes away from the venue. There was a funeral held 11 days after in a stadium that was or wasn't booked 4 months before. That was booked in 11 days and put together with pyrotechnics and WWE style showmanship. You have a shooter that left the screwdriver on the roof, changed 3 times or 2 times, and left the rifle, assembled the rifle, disassembled the rifle in 6 seconds. Then they found the rifle on Palantir property. Somehow he reassembled the rifle without the screwdriver that he left on the thing. Just all of it. None of it makes sense.
So and this is the JFK same all over again.
It's the exact same pattern down to the magic bullet that supposedly 30-06 or whatever the heck it was or whatever that was stopped by Superman's bones. The exact same, the Patsy, all of it is JFK.
Do you think the guy that they're saying that shot him, which doesn't seem to be believable?
You mean the guy that went to college for a month at a CIA school whose parents were in the government, did something that what? No, I don't.
So is he going to go down?
I believe it as much as I believe that a bullet whizzed past the president's ear.
Yeah, I know. Do you think that he's going to go down for the crime?
I think he will not make it to trial.
When something doesn't seem right, it's not. And then people are saying, like, this is one of the reasons why the wife didn't really show a lot of emotions. Because he ain't dead. People are saying, it was all fake, set up. It was a distraction from the Epstein file. And even that whole Trump assassination with the ear, that was staged. So again, when something doesn't seem right, it's not.
Are you ready? D28 Productions presents Reclaiming the Throne Live Theatrical Experience. Black history throughout the ages with an emphasis on culture and identity. Listen, this is being done not in Black History Month, but entering into the fall season with the greatest Black history show on earth. October the 25th, 2025 at the Grover C. Maxwell Theater on Augusta State University campus. Listen, we would love everybody to come from the north, south, east, and the west. Remember that this event is absolutely free, so we would love to have you there. But you must do one thing for us first. We need you to register. Yes, we need you to go to d28productions.com with a slash of current events so you can go and register. We need to know how many people coming so we can make sure the facility is able to have the capacity of that. But we would love to see you there. Please make sure you tell your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your uncle, everybody, leaders there, but make sure you register first. Love you. See you there.
I'm about to break down the truth about ICE. We are literally living out the scenes from The World Behind. Y'all remember about a year ago, all of the elites started resigning their companies and buying those underground bunkers? I wonder why. And then y'all remember how they tried to claim we was under attack by China because of TikTok? I wonder why.
First stage was isolation. Disable their communication.
And I wonder why the government is starting to shut down as soon as ICE is becoming so trending on social media.
Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation.
I wonder why.
Done successfully. Civil war.
And you can see the bigger picture that in Leave the World Behind, they destroyed the old system as an emergency panic button. Nobody knew why in the movie, why they destroyed the world. Because them people, they committed sins. Them people, demons trying to make them pay up, and they can't steal our energy no more like they used to, because they know they trying to do another ritual on the world to try to remain in power. Because spiritually, they try to do a ritual on us so they can trick us to surrender our free will to their agenda. As long as you don't believe in it, it won't work. You think these people stronger than y'all? Know what this was before it became the New World Order. We came from the roots. It's the same, different story. Y'all can try to trick the people that don't know their history. Y'all never erase the spirit of our ancestors.
I want that quote.
Y'all never erase.
Hold on.
Trick the people that.
I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves.
I no longer want to. This is not a ploy. This is not a hook. This is not anything for entertainment purposes. I do not want anymore. I'm tired. I'm tired. Gas is high. We can barely afford groceries. We can barely afford rent. Why do I need to make 3 times the rent when there's no job out there paying me 3 times the rent? And if I need to break the lease, I have to pay rent plus a month or so, or 2 months the rent. Lights are high. Gas is high. The gas bill. Existing is expensive. You have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a child. But we need children to keep the future of the human race progressing. I'm tired of being this planet. People are rude to you on the internet for absolutely no reason. I just saw a video of pilots, military pilots, getting arrested because they didn't want innocent people. This video might get flagged. Y'all may not even see this, or more than likely it's going to get suppressed, and it's only going to get maybe 75 views. Not 7,500, not 75,000, 75 views. Now, what I did see is that, y'all remember when Sonic was coming out and everybody was like, we don't like this, go fix it. Right?
Yeah.
And then they delayed the movie, and then they fixed it. They did the exact same thing with a different movie. I can't think of the name of it right now. They were like, we don't like this, go fix it. Then Jimmy Kimmel got fired. That good old white man on that nice TV, late night TV. Y'all boycotted Disney and they lost $3 billion of revenue.
Someone said people are literally in a relationship because of bills. Yeah, the cost of living is ridiculous and it keeps going up.
If the government can shut down, why don't our bills shut down? Why don't rent and mortgages pause?
He going somewhere.
Why don't utilities pause? Why don't taxes pause? You don't think that's strange? They can shut down 23 times and life still bleeds you dry? That should show you something. This ain't about no government. It's about control. But this is the crazy part right here. Most of y'all don't even know it's been 23 shutdowns.
I didn't know that till right now.
Because they bank on your ignorance. They bank on you not caring. So while you distracted with sports, celebrity drama, TikTok trends, they in the background passing bills, writing laws, moving money. And here's the universal law. They have to tell us. So they hide in TV, the movies, cartoons, write in plain sight. But if all you do is live for entertainment, you would never catch it. So yeah, the government might shut down, but your slavery never does.
When they said the apocalypse was going to be robots taking over, they meant AI. Block. Do not interact. Do not like. Do not repost. Do not give it attention. Do not, if you see it, block it. Keep moving forward. Do not even watch it for more than 1 second. Okay? Do not give them the attention that they want because they're taking the kids' faces.
Attention.
They're creating disgusting videos. They're taking your face. They're taking your grandma's face. They're taking your cousin's face. They're taking everyone's faces from social media. They're creating disturbing stuff. They are literally manipulating people. And people are just eating it up like it's not destroying our minds and the planet, literally. If we wanted to stop, talking isn't going to be enough. If you literally do not want the planet to be destroyed or people's minds to be mush, stop interacting, stop liking, start blocking, start ignoring, stop giving the attention because we're the consumers.
Sold my soul to the devil.
I sold my soul for about $55.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal.
Everybody screaming?
Pizza came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
Who wants to pray to the devil with me? Who's in with me? Come on, hey, let me see those horns.
Wow.
Dear Dark Lord Satan.
I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music. Yeah. But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil. It didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
What if the biggest stars in the world weren't just making music, but sending secret messages? Many believe the Illuminati uses celebrities as modern-day messengers, and the clues are hiding in plain sight. From triangles to checkerboard floors to the infamous one-eye pose, these symbols appear again and again in music videos, album covers, and award show performances. Fans around the world claim these aren't coincidences, but signals of allegiance to a powerful elite group. Beyond the stage, exclusive gatherings like Bohemian Grove, Bilderberg, and Davos fuel speculation about a hidden network pulling the strings. While officially labelled as private meetings of leaders, many online believe these are where global decisions are secretly made. Some artists have even joked, or admitted in interviews, about selling their soul for fame. Whether metaphor or truth, these moments only add to the mystery surrounding Hollywood and the music industry's elite. The same hand gestures, lyrics about darkness, and occult-inspired visuals keep reappearing. Coincidence or code? The truth may never be confirmed, but the symbols are there for anyone to see. What do you think? Are these just marketing stunts or proof of something deeper? Drop your thoughts below, and subscribe for more hidden truths and unexplained mysteries.
Look, I know how it sounds, but you have to hear me. Most of what you're scrolling past every day, that's not people. Since 2016, maybe earlier, it's been bots, scripts, auto posts, whole conversations, whole trends, engineered.
Have you heard of the dead internet theory? The idea that most of what we see online is bots and not real people? Kind of wild. I just read a thread about it.
Makes you second guess who you're talking to on forums, you know?
Somebody at work mentioned it. I don't fully buy it, but I do think a lot of content is recycled and automated.
The idea is most of what we see online, posts, comments, even videos, aren't made by real people anymore.
Someone looks twice. I don't think anyone can even tell I'm not real.
This is going to change the internet forever. The moment this rolls out, the way we create, share, and even think about being online is never going to be the same.
When making this video, I actually was kind of speechless because that entire little monologue was completely AI generated.
Right.
The AI were explaining something called the dead internet theory, which is basically that since 2016, everything that happens online is basically generated by bots and like no real people actually interact on the internet. Whether or not you believe this is true, I think Sora 2 coming out accelerates this. I'm going to show you a couple more examples of Sora 2 and what it's capable of.
If you're still on the fence about the Stanley tumbler, this is your sign.
Elf waterproof liquid liner. It's like $6 and it's been living rent-free in my makeup bag.
Cold enough to chill your bones. Brutally carbonated. Brutally refreshing. So crisp, it doesn't just quench. It murders. Liquid death. Murder your thirst.
So we found a little muddy climb out here, and I'm going to see what the R1T can do. It's already pretty caked up.
Caved and grabbed the new Align leggings in this sage green, and I'm obsessed. They're buttery soft like all the Aligns, but this color is just so good for fall, and it hides sweat way better than the lighter ones.
These videos are absolutely insane. And now anybody can make these without using a watermark. This is the tool that I use to create all these videos. It's called ArcAds, and they just released this new feature in the videos section where you can select Sora 2 Pro. And I just generated all these videos to test it with without the watermark. And what's actually crazy is how simple of a prompt you can put into this thing and get a crazy result. Like this crazy cinematic Liquid Death ad that I showed you earlier. This was the prompt. A fast-paced cinematic ad for Liquid Death. Like one sentence. And it made like an ad that probably would have cost like $100,000 to make. Or this try-on video I showed. This was the prompt. A woman at the gym talking about her new pair of Lululemon leggings. Crazy simple. Craziest thing with all this is you can actually add a reference image so you can insert your product into this AI. So here I have it starting referencing a Stanley water bottle combined with this very simple prompt of a UGC influencer video of a mom in the park talking about how much she loves her Stanley water bottle. And that created that whole scene. The barrier now for people to create AI videos and AI ads is just so low. It is so low. I'm both excited and terrified. Do you think this is like a huge detriment to society? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you want a link to this tool, comment AI ads and I'll send it to you.
Somebody said, how do we know that you aren't AI? I would say this. When it comes to the AI videos, there's always something off. It's like they cannot get it right. I don't know if that's done on purpose or if they really just can't figure out. Because like if you look, it'll be something with the eyes. Like, I don't know if you guys seen, but in that clip where the woman was talking, her eyes kind of did this. And then they kind of went back to this. So it's always something off. I always pay attention to the eyes, the mouth, the hands, and the background of a video. I don't know why, but that's how I'm able to tell what's real versus what isn't. Now, there are some very good videos out there where I'm like, wow, but I can always tell what's AI. Now, when it gets to a point where I can't tell, that's going to be the scary part. The thing is, this stuff can be used for, like, for example, I'm not promoting Liquid Death. I'm not promoting, but like him doing that commercial, like if you think about it, if you had a product and you're trying to promote it and you want to make a commercial for it, doing stuff like that would be cool. Trying to promote your brand or trying to promote your business, like that's cool. But making videos to where like you can't tell if this person is real, like that's not cool to me. Or if you just have them give you a script so that you can do it yourself, like I think that that's a bonus too. But this is truly going to change social media, because I was seeing how they had even videos of like influencers, fake AI influencers that look so real. And I'm like, why? What was the point of making that? Like, I don't understand the motive. And then I'm trying to think now, because you guys remember when I reacted to the video of Google VO? Is that not a thing no more? Is it now? Is it the Sora app? Like, because Google VO was like here and then it was gone. And in the Sora app, I've been seeing a lot of things for the past couple of days. But yeah, you guys let me know. And then the dead internet theory, we reacted to that before, where it's like you can be talking to somebody and it's not somebody that you're talking to. Like you really can just be talking to a computer, an AI, or a bot. I know that is a thing. I've seen it before. I've had it happen before. So when people are in the comments, you already know the Drake verse that I'm about to give out, trigger fingers on the Twitter fingers. When people are doing this, pay no mind to it, because 9 times out of 10, it can be 1, a child, and then 2, you can be arguing with a robot. And they're doing this to distract you.
Criminalizing homelessness in a country where the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour and studio apartments start at $1,300 is so
That's a studio.
evil. There are literally 28 vacant homes for every homeless person. Just give people homes. Housing is a human right. Oh, just because the homes are vacant doesn't mean that no one owns them. Why do people get to own homes they don't even use when there are other people who don't own homes who are suffering and dying on the street? Richest country on the planet, by the way. How about for once we value human life over property? Just for once.
No one's excited for 2100. Have you noticed that?
People love this video because it puts it plainly. It's just like nobody's excited for the future anymore. And I feel like a big culprit, the biggest culprit, not the sole reason, but just like the biggest culprit of this is our media. Because if you look at our media, it's all dystopia. Like all our depictions of the future are just dystopian. It's either WALL-E, Cyberpunk, or Fallout. That's it. That's why I've been falling in love with Solarpunk so much. Because Solarpunk just shows us, hey, what if we just fix the planet? You know, what if we just try to fix the planet? What if we try to live better? And it shows us what this could look like. This is a possible thing. This is something we can actually do. You know, it's just like it's amazing.
So they want to surveil everyone, but they can only surveil everyone if everyone's on devices that can be surveilled. So what about people that are not on devices that can be surveilled? Well, they're going to be told that they need a digital ID to access their basic needs, and the only way to have a digital ID is to have a device that can hold a digital ID, and it's those devices that can be surveilled.
Why is everything $50? Everything.
What you mean?
Tell me why I'm at the mall today, and I walk into Hollister, and I'm like, okay, it's Hollister, whatever. Everything's $50. Doesn't matter what it is. One sock, that's $50. Sweatpants is also $50. I had one objective for the day, get some jeans. So I expect to spend $50, right? Whatever. Then I did. But I'm walking around, bro, and like a keychain is $50. We're in a $50 economy. I saw a beautiful jacket at Levi's today. Guess how much it was?
$50.
Two $50. They were handing out 3 samples in the food court for $50.
Why is he lying?
I heard a kid ask another kid if aura is in the dictionary yet.
What? I remember when everything used to be $20. So the fact, how we skip 30, 40 and go straight to 50. So $20 is like the new $5 now. And then Hollister got the audacity because Hollister was a thing a decade, maybe 2 decades ago. For y'all still to be up and ain't nobody shopping there. Who's shopping Hollister still? Not that Hollister is cool. I think I only had like one thing from Hollister and I didn't even buy it. Like it was my sister's and I just took it. She wasn't wearing it. So yeah, I had like a little Hollister like kind of like hoodie, but I've never shopped there. I'm shocked. Their prices was always, I think, kind of pricey though, but do people still actually shop at the mall? I feel like we're so online and Amazon and Shein or Shein, however you pronounce it, Temu, like, do we still shop at malls?
The real reason why cartoon characters wear white gloves is way more disturbing than you think. So everybody's familiar with this very specific style of white glove that a ton of classic cartoon characters wear, but not many people really question why they're wearing the gloves. It's just how it always has been. Unless you're the character Bobby from an extremely goofy movie who jokingly asked this exact question.
Do you ever wonder why we're always like wearing gloves?
Yeah. That's just a funny little gag, but it's a good point. Why do they wear the gloves? Well, a lot of people will tell you it's so the character's hands can stand out from their darker bodies, which made it easier for animators to make them more expressive and to better convey the things that they were doing with their hands. And while that's technically true, it's only half of the story, and it leaves out a very important and very disturbing detail. Cartoon characters wear white gloves so that their hands stand out against their black bodies because blackface minstrel actors from the 1920s and 30s wore white gloves so that their hands would stand out against the black paint on their faces. Because many early cartoon characters like Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, Bimbo the Dog, and Bosco were blackface minstrel characters. That's right, Mickey Mouse was originally intended to be a parody or an homage to vaudeville blackface actors. You see, in the early days of cartoon animation, before TV existed or they were even being regularly played in movie theaters, animators like Winsor McKay, creator of Little Nemo, would take their cartoons on tour with vaudeville shows and literally project them on stage on a screen. They would even sometimes interact with their animations. And the most popular part of these vaudeville touring shows was the blackface minstrel act. And so the animators, trying to grab the audience that was there to see the blackface minstrel shows, would pattern their characters off of those blackface actors. So the cartoon characters would take on the physical traits of these blackface actors, like the dark black skin with the white or red mouth and eyes, and also the personality traits and tropes of blackface minstrelsy, like the mischievous trickster character, which was very common in blackface and was also what most cartoon characters in the 1930s and 40s were. This minstrel style of cartoon character carried over from the vaudeville era of animation to the film era of animation with characters like Mickey Mouse and Felix the Cat. And after a while, blackface minstrel shows obviously fell out of favor and people just kind of forgot that they were like that. So the style of the character became solely associated with cartoons. And that's how we ended up with generations of these cartoon characters with these inexplicable white gloves. And again, many people will tell you, no, it's nothing to do with blackface. It's so that their hands can stand out from their bodies, but that's just not historically accurate. And here's the thing, I love animation like many people, and I love many of these characters. I'm not trying to get anything canceled. I just think it's important to be aware of these things. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me, you can do that here.
Y'all ever notice how the NFL and NBA feel like modern-day plantations in disguise? Think about it. Every year, they line up a bunch of mostly black men measuring their height, their wingspan, their weight, just like they did in the auction blocks centuries ago. Nur Muhammad even talked about it, how the draft combines mirror the slave trade, where owners, not coaches, decide who's worth investing in. And of course they say it's just business. But when the people getting measured all look the same, you start to question what kind of business it really is.
Starts off with the selection process. What is the NFL draft? What is the combine? Compare that to the auction block of plantation. So what did they do on the auction block? They would bring a slave out, grease him down, and they would show off his muscles and let him know that how strong he was, how fast he can run, how many hours he can work. And they've been auctioned, just like you would on a plantation. Look at what the Dallas Cowboy owner, look at what he was saying on tape. He got caught accidentally describing the body parts of one of his players. 5'9.5", 210, 441, 9 3 inch, 8.5.
TikTok, this is all alleged and for entertainment and educational purposes only. And if you peep that movie Him, they wasn't just being creative, they were exposing a lot. The rituals, the control, the mental chains before the fame, etc. I don't know, it doesn't even feel like symbolism anymore. They're telling you right to your face. But drop a 1 in the comments if you agree.
So, was that before or after Jamie Foxx got hit with the sickness that he had? Because I'm trying to figure out if this is the reason why Jamie Foxx was in the situation that he was in, because he was exposing what that man was saying. Because I've never heard somebody speak about a person in number talk the way that he's doing, except for when you see it in like the slavery movies. But I've always said slavery has never stopped. It's just in another name. And a lot of people, like, for example, this one dude says, except these men make millions of dollars. He does not get the point. It is a whole auction that is happening. And Colin Kaepernick himself did a whole series on this. Now, I have a question. Have you watched him? The reason why I'm a little skeptical is because that one is made by Jordan Peele, correct? When Jordan Peele made Get Out and Us, those movies hit. When he dropped Nope, I said this is a nope for me. It just didn't. I understood the concept after I did the ending explain and kind of looked into it, but it just was not giving. Like, that's a movie that you can wholeheartedly skip. So I got a little skeptical because I know this is not his movie that he made, but his name is still somehow attached to it. Is him worth watching?
Somebody tried to sit here and tell me that eating healthy and eating clean is more expensive than eating the junk food. Absolutely not true. If you honestly believe that, you're just not very educated on how to properly eat healthy in a wallet-friendly manner. If I go to Wendy's or Taco Bell right now, it's gonna cost me a cool 15 to 20 bucks for a single meal. But that same 20 bucks could have got me a whole pack of chicken breast and some rice. Now, I'm a big dude. I eat a lot of food. A single pack of chicken breast and some rice, that's going to be maybe 2-3 meals for me. But 2-3 meals for 20 bucks instead of 1 for 20. Junk food. If I go spend that 20 bucks 5 times, that's 100 bucks, right? 5 meals. That same 100 bucks can feed me for a week. Give me a couple packs of chicken breast, rice, sweet potatoes, maybe some broccoli, my little different seasonings and stuff. Eating healthy is not expensive. It's just that people don't want to eat healthy. People want to make excuses. I don't have time to cook. I don't have time to meal prep. I don't feel like, I don't know. Excuses. If you really wanted to eat clean and eat healthy and actually commit time and energy into learning how to properly do it, you'll find out that eating healthy is not as expensive as constantly eating the. But also it kind of depends on how much you're eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going out to eat multiple meals a day, you're going to run up a check, bro. Versus if you're staying at home eating meal prep food multiple times a day, you're going to save a lot of money. Eating clean and eating healthy has never been more expensive than eating dirty.
What the heck? No, they did not do one with the dog.
Poverty creates the illusion that money is valuable. On a planetary level, there is enough food, energy, and material wealth to support all humans on this planet. So scarcity is manufactured. It's largely artificial to create the misery of poverty. And in doing so, it keeps people compliant. Because if survival feels perpetually at risk, they will accept exchanging their life force working in unjust systems.
How is it that some celebrities look like a bunch of other people back in history that we've seen? Like, have you guys seen those?
I've definitely seen. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. All these people that, like, over 100, 200 years ago, if you see these pictures, you're like, yo, that looks exactly like them. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying we have to start asking these questions. Like, have you guys seen that movie Dr. Sleep?
No.
Yes.
It's the sequel to The Shining.
Yeah, I seen it.
Go check that out. That
Dr.
depicts.
Sleep?
Yes.
I'm gonna check this. Okay.
So, because I know what you're referring to, that those people look for people with that keen ability that they call it, like, let's say the shine.
Shine.
Yeah. And usually it's kids and they...
Right. So they
the kids?
No, so here's what they do in the movie. So basically, it's crazy. So they get these kids, right? Movie's up. So they get the kids and they scare them to the point to where their adrenaline is so high.
So the
and
monsters
they extract
eat
them.
Basically.
So they're extracting their life force, their adrenochrome. And the adrenochrome, it's even in other movies too. That's why I say I always watch movies with a different lens, because they always put it in the movies. So they extract it, right? And that's life force. And you can see it in the movie where, like, they breathe it in and, like, they can live forever off of it.
Interesting news brought to you by the Crazy Camp Chick. Listen to this. Okay, I'm telling you, this is, the world has, I can't even fathom at this point. Okay, lab-grown whole milk hits the U.S. No cows required. Boston-based startup Brown's Food is distributing Unreal Milk, the first lab-grown whole milk made without a single dang cow, using millennium cell culture. It mimics traditional dairy taste, texture, nutrition while creating, okay, or I should say cutting carbon emission by 82%. I mean, like, cow farts hurt the earth. Unlike precision fermentation, this process creates complete milk, allowing it to be processed into butter, cheese, and ice cream. Independent testing confirms that the molecular match is exact, okay? Almost exact. 2.3 million in funding. Brown Food eyes commercialization position itself as one of the leading cellular in agriculture.
You guys know the flock safety cameras, right? There's like 80,000 and counting being set up across the U.S. They take pictures of everyone's license plate, and they just activated the microphones installed on these to report, I don't know, incidents that happen across the nation. Anyways, they have dozens of them on the highways leading to the city I live at, and I'm watching, bro. I drive on this road multiple times a day. I watch them building these little poles in the ground and putting these cameras on top of them. And it's like, yo, the surveillance state is right in front of you guys. If you want to learn if there's flock safety cameras where you are, that are taking pictures of your license plates and reporting them to a master database accessible by law enforcement all across the nation and the higher echelons of our government, then there's a website. You just look up flock safety camera map, you'll find them, and you'll be surprised how much you're being surveilled on the daily. Anyways, that's all for this video. I just want to talk about that.
I'm going to end the video there. So flock, what was the word that he said? Flock safety cameras. Okay, have you guys seen this in your area / state/city.
Ever find yourself in a waiting room of a U.S. emergency department at 3 a.m., there's a specific kind of silence in there. And even though it's pretty quiet, usually, it's not peaceful. It's 20 or so people holding their breath because they're doing the mental math. Not because they're dying, though some of them might be. So they're staring at the fluorescent lights, weighing the throbbing in their chest against the likelihood of a $5,000 deductible. I'm sure some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is probably the only place on Earth where you can witness a person having a stroke and a panic attack about their financial status at the exact same time. You haven't traveled to another planet. You're sitting in a plastic chair in some strip mall somewhere. Or maybe it's a glass and steel monolith in Los Angeles. But you've stepped through a portal nonetheless, and you've entered a dimension where care is a line item and where wellness is basically a subscription service. But it's also a place where the most dangerous symptom you can present isn't a fever or a shortness of breath or whatever. It's a lack of prior authorization. You know, we like to think of ourselves as this modern high-tech civilization. We've got rovers on Mars. We've got AI that can deep fake your deceased grandfather so he can sell you life insurance in a TikTok ad. But when it comes to the basic biological reality of being a human animal that occasionally breaks down, here in the US, we've built a system that feels like it was designed by Franz Kafka on a particularly spiteful bender. So try to imagine it as a psychological thriller masquerading as a serial or a social contract. And the twist is that we've all agreed to pretend that this is just perfectly normal. We've totally normalized the idea that your right to continue breathing is directly proportional to your ability to navigate a 400-page PDF of covered providers. Think about that for a second. We are the only species on this planet that has to check a website to see if a doctor who's currently holding your heart in their hands is in network. If a squirrel falls out of a tree, it has to deal with the injury. It doesn't have to worry that the squirrel surgeon is out of network and that its squirrel children will inherit a debt they can never pay off in acorns. And this is what we call, in the United States, the healthcare system. system implies a certain level of logic. I mean, a clock is a system. The water cycle is a system. But this is a gauntlet. It's an elaborate, multi-layered psychological experiment designed to see exactly how much dignity a human being will trade for maybe 30 more years of life. And so far, the answer is all of it. We will trade all of the dignity. So we're told that we have a choice, right? That's the big selling point. American freedom. You get to choose your plan, but have you actually looked at the choices? It's like being at a restaurant where the menu is written in ancient Aramaic, and every dish might either nourish you or result in the repossession of your car. So would you like the gold plan, which costs as much as a mortgage and covers nothing until you're basically a ghost? Or would you like the bronze plan, which is essentially just a high-priced good luck card from a multi-billion-dollar corporation? This is choice in the same way a hostage has a choice. You can choose to pay the ransom, or you can choose to just see what happens. And here in the US, someone came up with the brilliant idea of tying this nightmare to our jobs, which I see as a bizarre neo-feudalistic arrangement. So back in the Middle Ages, the serf worked the land, and the Lord gave them a place to live and protected them from attackers. Now, you spend 40 hours a week updating spreadsheets or whatever for a middle manager, and in exchange, the company pays a middleman to give you a plastic card that might allow you to get an MRI without filing for bankruptcy. And if you lose your job, then you lose the so-called protection. So the attackers, in this case, let's say a rogue gallbladder or a suspicious lump, are suddenly at the gates, and you're standing there in your underwear. And why do they do this? Well, because it keeps us compliant. And because it's pretty hard to start a revolution or even quit a job that you hate when your insulin is being held hostage by your HR department. So this is effectively the ultimate golden handcuffs. Except the handcuffs are made of cheap surgical steel and they're digging into your wrists. And the complexity, that's not a mistake. That's the architecture. Because if you understood how this actually worked, well, then you might get angry, and they don't want angry. But when you're just confused by all of this, you're paralyzed. And a paralyzed, confused patient is much easier to bill, right? So we've turned one of the most fundamental of human needs, the need to, not be in pain, into a scavenger hunt where the prize is just not losing your home. There is a specific look in the eyes of a person who has just been told that they need a procedure. It's not so much the fear of the scalpel. It's the internal calculator look. So what this is exactly, their eyes glaze over as they try to remember if they've met their deductible, or if that one specialist they saw 3 years ago was part of a group that got bought out by a private equity firm somewhere. Now in the U.S., let's wait and see is a budgeting tool, not just a medical strategy. Because here, we treat our bodies like a car that's making a weird clicking sound. And you turn up the radio to drown it out and hope that the engine doesn't fall out on the highway before payday. So what we've done is we've created a culture where the GoFundMe page has replaced the safety net. This is a nation of 347 million people, and our primary healthcare strategy is hoping our friends have a spare $20 to help us out, and that our backstory goes viral. It's insane. It's a literal popularity contest for survival. If you're photogenic and you have a compelling story, maybe you at least get the chemo. But if you're just a quiet, somewhat grumpy type who doesn't post on social media, well, I hope you like the over-the-counter ibuprofen and, I don't know, positive vibes. The moral injury here, it's subtle, but it's deep, because it's the realization that your life actually has a price tag. And the worst part isn't necessarily that the price is high, it's that the price is negotiable. Now, the problem with that is you aren't the one doing the negotiating. That's happening between your insurance company and the hospital, who are arguing over the cost of saline like it's two guys at a flea market, while you are lying on the gurney just trying to remember how to breathe. Medical bankruptcy is another aspect to this whole travesty. That's also been normalized. And we've reached a point where it's just a thing that happens now, like a thunderstorm or a bad harvest. And we've just come to accept that a single unlucky cell mutation can erase 30 years of what was a somewhat stable existence. This is the kind of experience, it makes life feel less like a journey and a lot more like some twisted game of Minesweeper where half the squares are rigged. So somewhere along the way, we stopped being seen as patients and we became consumers. That's a nasty little linguistic trick, isn't it? A patient is a person in need of care. A consumer is someone you extract value from. And when you're a consumer, the goal isn't necessarily to make you well. The goal is to keep you in the sickness management phase as long as possible. Because frankly, if you're dead, you're not paying. And if you're cured, you're not paying. But if you are chronically managed, well, that's where the quarterly earnings reports get really sexy.
You want to go? Yeah.
And we see this reflected in the way we talk about wellness now. Wellness has been rebranded as a luxury lifestyle choice. It's $14 green juices, $120 yoga pants. It's self-care rituals that feel like they were designed for people whose only stressor is choosing a vacation spot. And it's a fairly brilliant distraction because if you're sick, the system whispers that it's probably your fault because you couldn't afford to buy organic and you didn't meditate away your hereditary autoimmune disorder. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a big believer in preventative medicine and taking care of yourself. But when you live in a country where the vast majority of the food supply is poison, and 73 million Americans are drinking tap water with PFAS, also known as forever chemicals, you can do all the right things and still get sick. And the medical industrial complex that we have here will still try to use that against you by turning health into a matter of personal responsibility. So the people running the burning building get to blame you for breathing in the smoke. You know, at this stage of the game, the very idea of being a living organism has been commodified by our sociopathic system. In the U.S., the human body has been turned into a risk pool. You're no longer a person with a history and a family. You're a collection of data points that represent a certain probability of payout. And then there's the best healthcare in the world trope. We love saying that here. And sure, it is the best healthcare in the world if you're a billionaire with a rare blood disease. But for everyone else, for the most part, it's like having a Maserati parked in the driveway that you can't afford to actually drive because the car payment, the gas, the car insurance, it's outrageously expensive. So our medical technology is practically futuristic now, but the access to it may as well be medieval. We've got, the robot surgeons coming in, but we can't even figure out how to give a person a bottle of insulin without them being forced to choose between medicine or their groceries. It's peak American absurdism, plain and simple. So many of you would probably agree that there's a chronic low-level radiation of anxiety that comes with living in this reality. And it's always humming in the background. This is the reason people hesitate to call 911 when they see someone collapse. It's not that they're heartless. They're just terrified that they might inadvertently be helping that person into a lifetime of debt. This is how batshit crazy our system really is. This kind of precarity rewires your nervous system. You start to view your own body as a potential traitor. Every headache is a potential financial catastrophe. Every weird mole that you find becomes a potential threat to your kid's college fund. This kind of thing is eroding the social fabric here. It's making us maladaptively individualistic and paranoid because we know that if we fall, there's no net. There's just a pile of paperwork and a collection agency waiting to harass you. And there's no communal sense of health anymore because we've forgotten that when your neighbor is healthy, you're actually safer. Your community is safer. So instead, we're all just trying to stay on the right side of the covered line while we look over our shoulders at the people that are falling off the edge. This is some new type of trauma that we haven't even given a name yet. It's the trauma of being a risk in a world that only values assets. So we have this national myth that we tell ourselves that helps us sleep better at night. We like to say, well, at least we don't have to wait 8 months for a hip replacement like they do in Canada. And we say it with this weird defensive pride, as if dying of a preventable infection today is somehow more patriotic than waiting for a surgery tomorrow. It's the ultimate gaslighting. And we've been convinced that the only alternative to our current nightmare is a different kind of nightmare. One involving bread lines and death panels. And meanwhile, the rest of the developed world looks at us the way you might look at a cousin who refuses to go to the dentist, but he just bought a brand new solid gold steering wheel for his car. So they've figured out that a healthy population is actually good for business. And that if people aren't terrified of going to the doctor, they might actually contribute more to society. Radical concept, I know. But here in the USA, we treat healthcare like it's a luxury, like it's a heated seat in a luxury sedan. Oh, you want your appendix removed? Well, that'll be the premium survival package, sir. We have lost. No, I'm sorry. We haven't lost. We have the most advanced medical schools on the planet, and yet our life expectancy is dropping. And we spend more per capita than anybody else. And yet we have the infant mortality rates of a country that hasn't discovered electricity yet.
True.
This is not a failure of science. This is a failure of imagination. We can see some of the oldest stars in the universe through the James Webb Telescope, but we can't see the person suffering 2 blocks away from the hospital because their insurance carrier decided their life-saving medication was not medically necessary. we're in the Twilight Zone, but there's no, twist ending here. There's just this hellish recurring loop of please hold your call because please hold, your call is important to us. So I guess this is where we ask, what the hell are we supposed to do? I mean, I'm not going to give you some vote harder speech to tell you to start or tell you to start a community garden. Though there's nothing wrong with starting a community garden. It's just, unfortunately, in this situation, those sound kind of like platitudes. And, platitudes don't pay for chemotherapy. So if we're going to be brutally honest here, the system is a behemoth that feeds on our collective misery. And you can't kill it with a keep calm and carry on poster. But there are some ways to exist within this absurdity without letting it completely hollow you out. And number one, aggressive medical literacy. I think we need to stop treating the medical bill as a divine decree and start seeing it as a suggestion. It's a first offer in a very dark negotiation. And unfortunately, we got to learn the language of the bureaucracy. So ask for itemized bills and challenge the coding. When you realize that a single aspirin is being billed at $40, that's when you stop feeling like a patient and start realizing that you are being mugged. And you have every right to fight back against a mugger. All right. Number 2, decoupling identity from productivity. So the system wants you to believe that your worth is tied to your ability to work so you can keep your benefits. But I think we need to reject this. You are a biological entity with an inherent right to exist. Regardless of whether you're useful to a corporation this week or whatever that it might be. And once you stop viewing your health as a business asset, the psychological grip of the system starts to loosen. All right. Number 3. This is the Underground Railroad of care. So this is already happening. We just need to lean into it more. This is basically sharing resources, finding the cash pay clinics that actually give a shit, and bypassing the insurance middlemen whenever possible. It's about building micro networks of sanity. So if the big system is a labyrinth designed to kill you, stop trying to win the game and start looking for the side exits. Okay. Number 4, naming the moral injury. So instead of calling it burnout and stress, call it what it really is. It's a moral wound. If you are a doctor forced to deny care, or a patient forced to choose between debt and death, that is a moral wound. I think, I think if we can use the right words, we can stop blaming ourselves for what is a structural collapse. All right, so here we are. You've survived another day in the USA Twilight Zone. Hopefully you've checked your pulse and you've checked your bank account, and for now the two numbers seem to be in a fragile, uneasy truce. But don't get too comfortable, because in this dimension the ground is always shifting. And even though we live in this land of modern technological miracles where we can 3D print organs and edit DNA, we've nonetheless forgotten the most important miracle of all, which is the act of looking at another human being and deciding that their survival shouldn't have a deductible. This is a society that knows the price of everything and the value of nothing. The U.S. has built a cathedral of medicine, but it's chosen to lock the doors and start charging for the oxygen inside. So as you go about your day, try not to trip or, catch a cold or something. And, look both ways before you cross the street. And whatever you do, try not to look too closely at the fine print, because in, the USA Twilight Zone, the so-called cure might actually be more terrifying than the disease itself. All right. That's all I've got today. As always, thanks for listening.
On the road, something by you all that's going to make us rethink everything. Thank you, Red, for the video.
I don't think people realize that we are already artificially intelligent. I don't think people realize that the brain, B-R-A-I-N, right, is artificially intelligent. It's a machine, and it's not just this brain, right? You have 3 brains. Actually, you have 4, technically, right? Because you have a brain around the 3 brains, the container of the 3 brains. You have your brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain, and your skin, which is also a brain, the membrane, around the brains. Your body is a computer. It is a generator. It is a processor. It is a RAM. It is quite literally insane how powerful this body is. And it's unfortunate because it's been monetized, right? But a lot of people don't realize we are the land. Think about that. We are the land.
We're back with some more Erica Kirk videos because I thought we were done. But shout out to X for the next couple of videos.
Erica got the $150 million that Charlie turned down.
Ooh-wee. Hear this. In The Matrix, Neo was distracted by the lady in the red dress and almost died because of it. Charlie, not fortunate. They said she was a plant before she met Charlie. Then I'm also reading too, they're saying that this photo is Photoshopped, so...
6G is coming in 2030. That's the public launch. But testing began years ago in controlled zones across Virginia, Osaka, and EU smart grids. And here's what they won't tell you. 6G doesn't connect your phone. It connects you. In 2023, DARPA and ATS ran a closed pilot across federal buildings in Northern Virginia. The tech? 6G presence nodes, powered by terahertz bands that don't just transfer data, they mirror you. Each user's gait, tone, even heart rhythm became part of the signal loop. The system adjusted light, sound, even push notifications based on real-time biometric drift. It's called adaptive ambient sync, and it's not theory. In the Arlington test zone, over 200 participants unknowingly entered what the internal logs labeled a behavioral sync cluster. Result? 68% changed walking pace within 90 seconds. 52% began mirroring posture. Average voice pitch dropped 12 hertz across the zone without prompt or audio cue. This isn't cellular, it's presence modulation, backed by Samsung's 6G white paper, verified in Hexa-X testbeds, and buried in Appendix 9 of the Defense Communications Futures Report, blackbarred until last quarter. You were never the user. You were the interface. Want out? Disrupt the loop, delay touch input, break rhythm, avoid high-band hotspots during emotional peaks. Because with 6G, you're not browsing. You're being tuned. Tuesday accessed the relay logs. They weren't encrypted because they assumed no one would read drift code but them. Now you have.
Okay, so let me just make this quick. Think of an apple on a table right now. Think of an apple on a table right now. So right now that you're picturing the apple on a table, I want to ask you a question. What is looking at that apple on the table if you're watching this video? What is you just picture apple on the table. Okay, you see that apple on the table? What the is looking at that apple on the table if you're watching this video? How you looking at two things at once? Who's looking at the other thing? Who's looking? Nah, answer the question. Who's looking, bro? Who's looking? Who's looking at the apple on the table? When you go to sleep and you're dreaming, if your eyes are closed, who the f is watching a dream? How do you see what's going on in a dream? Sleep on that.
They got autism. I believe moms.
Peter Thiel, the FBI informant and CIA contractor, Elon Musk, the defense contractor and PayPal mafia member with Peter Thiel, close confidant of David Sachs, and J.D. Vance, who brokered the David Sachs fundraiser with Silicon Valley and Trump, mentored by Peter Thiel, mentored by David Frum, who worked for Bill Kristol with Tucker Carlson. Thiel, Musk, and Tucker lobbied Trump to pick Vance, and they said, if you don't, the CIA will kill you. Who's the CIA? Who does the CIA, NSA, FBI, DHS, who do they all contract with? Palantir, founded by Peter Thiel and Alex Karp and Joe Lonsdale, Israel First Jews that after October 7th flew their board to Israel and provided them with facial recognition technology to murder Palestinians. J.D. Vance, who upon becoming the VP nominee in his first interview said, we're going to bomb Iran, who went to the Quincy Institute and said, we need a pro-Israel spin on America first.
Why?
Tucker, who interviewed Vance 46 times on his show, Vance hired his son. Vance's Rockbridge Network was the spawning point of 1789 Capital, founded by Rebecca Mercer and Claire Monster Chris Buskirk, which gave Tucker $15 million. Rebecca Mercer funded Steve Bannon at Breitbart that spawned Milo Yiannopoulos' career. And Rebecca Mercer hand-selected George Farmer, Candace Owens' husband, to run Parler in 2021. This is why they want me dead. Who's the Fed? Who's the Fed here? Because I brought all the receipts.
How do you believe that Hollywood was created by the CIA?
Well, before we say Hollywood was created by the CIA, I guess I should clarify because, first off, you guys do know the Pentagon has a budget for film. Like there's a whole department in the Pentagon.
I know that.
That's a fact. There you go. That's all you need to know. There's an entire department in the Pentagon. They get involved with films, and they get involved with films for the purpose of propaganda. They always have.
What movies
I should have said Pentagon instead of CIA. Tons of them. I should show you the list. You should pull it up. It's wild. Yeah, Pentagon Department for Hollywood. Tons of them. Even Transformers. Even Transformers, because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with World War films, how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas,
Yeah, the Pentagon just funded some films. Black Hawk Down, Red Dawn, GoldenEye.
The more you know. Now you understand your experience in theaters is what your government wants you to think. They want you to think that this is how things happen, and it's usually not at all how things have actually happened.
6 of the best movies made with help from the Department of Defense. This is military.
Yeah. I shouldn't have said CIA. I should have just said the government. But
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Red Dawn, Apollo 13.
Mm-hmm. It's all about
Iron Man. Oh,
I didn't know that was on the list.
Now he upset. That'd be interesting. Now you said, continue.
What? Iron Man? No, that's her limit right there. She was like, you know what? That was crazy.
What is the point of that? Just control?
Yeah, propaganda. It's crazy. You grow up in school and you think propaganda belongs to the East or something. Propaganda is the name of the game of our government. They, again, never want you to look into the crimes that they are committing, constantly trying to sell themselves as the good guys. They did the most. They rescued and saved the world. They've never done anything bad overseas. If you are living and you believe that the American government hasn't committed crimes against humanity, you gotta wake up to the propaganda. You gotta learn real history, not what was taught to you in a textbook. That's all just propaganda. We've done horrific things.
Thank you, Nori, for the video.
You grab an avocado, slice it in half, and then pop out the seed like this. Place it in a glass of water and let it soak in there for an hour.
That seed is perfect.
Then grab a piece of paper towel and wet it. Squeeze off the excess water. Then take out the avocado seed and place it on top and wrap it around it like this. Place this in a Ziploc bag. Seal it. And place it somewhere warm and dark like a bubble below the oven. Check back in a few weeks and you'll see roots. The seed is cracked open, roots are forming. Now it's gonna grow a stem from the top. So the next thing you wanna do is grab a pot with some soil in it and plant it, but leave the top exposed. Look at these roots. Be gentle when you plant it. Keep the soil nice and moist at all times, and cover it with a Ziploc bag for extra humidity. This is what you want it to look like. Place it somewhere nice and sunny, and pretty soon that little seed is gonna grow magic. Check this out. Oh, little baby avocado.
That was so cool.
Once it goes to this, into this, about 12 inches long, you can trim off the top. Once you see new leaves are forming, it's ready for what's next. Go outside in your garden and dig a hole. Or grab a big pot like this one and transplant your little avocado seedling. Take good care of this little baby tree, and pretty soon you'll have your own avocados growing. So next time you eat an avocado, don't throw out the pit. Look at this. All these from just one seed.
No, seriously.
Crazy. So grow your own avocados.
So just from that one seed, he was able to produce all those avocados on that tree. I love that because it really shows you that you can buy something one time, and it also shows you reproduction, how it works. How many of us go to the store, we'll buy whatever fruit and vegetable that has a seed, right? And we'll just throw it away because we don't look at it as functional. But that is the most functional thing that we can do, is hold on to the seeds to do stuff like that. And I love that he shows us stuff that we can do with gadgets and gadgets that we have at the house. Growing is beautiful. It's a process, but that's life. So if you look at growing, that is how life is. It don't happen. I always say this. My favorite quote is, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. And that goes with, yes, the fruits and vegetables, but it also goes with words, because words can be seeds too. You can be telling somebody something, and just because you told them that day does not mean they're going to get it the next day. No, what you told them could be a seed planted for years later for them to be like, mind blown. I just got it. the light just popped off, light bulb just went off. Planting is beautiful, and it just shows you that one seed can produce so much. Thank you, Munchie, for the video.
We all must be collectively waking up from this nightmare or dream, this American dream that we have been in, because Jennifer Aniston never looked like this, did she? Look at the way that this guy is looking at Jennifer Aniston. This is exactly the same way I'm looking at her as well too, or him, y'all. Like, look at the neck. Like, how did we not realize this back in the day? Look at her swallowing. Look at the Adam's apple going up and down. How did we not notice this back in the day? And you guys think that it's only 1 or 2 or 3 people in Hollywood. No, man. It's called Hollywood for a reason. They are here to cast spells and illusions. And this is one of the biggest illusions, turning men into women and vice versa. Because y'all not going to sit there and look at this video and not tell me that's not a man. Like, why does Jennifer Aniston look like Brad Pitt a little bit? Like, am I tripping, y'all? Doesn't Jennifer Aniston look like Brad Pitt a little bit? And then she used to date Brad Pitt too? Bro, look at the neck, look at the nose, look at the eyes. Something is wrong with the makeup. Look at the chest. Bro, are you kidding me? Yo, Hollywood is beyond disgusting. Beyond disgusting, because Jennifer Aniston is not the only one. If y'all take the time to slow down and look at all your quote-unquote crushes from back in the day, you will observe the same thing. These people are really demons in disguise, man. Oh my God, bro, look at this. Bro, it's like this shift is causing us to have new eyes, and we can finally see clearly. And this is not the end, y'all, I guarantee you. Look at this picture of him in 1993. Having these new pair of eyes now, I can clearly see that it is a boy. This right here, out of that, from boys to men, they're literally telling us from boys to men. Because again, you're not going to sit here and tell me that that's not a man. Go look at your favorite crushes that you had back in the day, and you're going to find some disturbing stuff. The shift is here, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Thank you, Des, for the next couple of videos.
It's not people, it's animals. California animals. This is like a puppy party.
Who? Oh my gosh, this dude.
Why do you say he's broke?
Because everybody in the industry broke. They live on borrowed money.
He's not lying.
If baby got $8 million, his disco account say $8 million negative, and you got to pay that back at a 70%, 100% recoup rate. That means baby not making money. That means all the money he make go towards that balance. And with a 100% recoup rate, you never recoup.
We tell y'all a true story. Be simple and watch this video to the end. Meek Mills and Lil Uzi, they told us TikTok this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go.
We get paid to rap about that stuff. They actually pay us more when we rap about more ignorant stuff.
Really?
So I make sure I even online and come talking like this.
What you thought? They was paying them to change the world for the better? Stop playing with me, son. You know well they wasn't. Come on.
I just want to rap.
Okay.
It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent free. I can't get it out.
Why is that?
You did that. Yeah, it's hypnosis.
What?
She's so nice.
You're so awesome and dope. I love your music. I love your art.
Shut up. You heard him. I'm not even going to repeat what he said. Remember when that song came out, though? All you had to do was hear it one time, and it was stuck in your head for a whole month straight. Now, playing with me, son, TikTok. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm only saying what Meek Mill said and what Lil Uzi said. It's not a game out here, guys. Meek Mill's told you they pay more if they rap about stuff that'll leave you like, What you thought? They was about to spit knowledge? Stop playing with me, son. Absolutely not, guys. If you're looking for knowledge, you better look somewhere else. It's not a game out here, guys. Hold on.
He has to be stopped.
Copy. He told me you said enough. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, guys, and you know what it is.
Is he
Lil Uzi said it to that reporter, and when she did, she brushed it off. Everybody knows their position in HW. The problem is that you don't know their position. Stop playing with me, son. Now you know because they told you, and I didn't say nothing. But I tell you one thing: if I ever run into any of these guys in the streets, and I ask them about this, and they try to act like they didn't say that, I got it on video, bro.
The tobacco is packed inside. Tinfoil is placed.
Who knew that? Because they're like, oh, this is healthier. He said one of these is equivalent to 100 cigarettes.
You know Donald Trump?
Yeah.
He didn't originally run for president because he wanted to be president. The reason he ended up running for president was because of Gwen Stefani. What? This is someone's theory. He was on The Apprentice. Gwen Stefani ended up being on America's Got Talent. He figured out she was actually getting paid more than him because of relevancy. Okay. But he had a plan. He decided for more relevancy, all I have to do is run for president.
That is not how that works.
Win. It's just news, and he'll be relevant. So he decided, let me try my first rally. He went to his first rally, and the crowd was way, way bigger than anyone expected.
Unbelievable!
And at that moment, he probably thought, let's do it. Let's actually do it. Yeah.
Trump was already famous. Like, how famous do you want to get? The man was famous or rich. It's a very, very, very great theory. I really want to know if that one's true. It just don't make no sense if that's why he ran for president, because he wanted more of a following. He wanted, like, to be well known, because he was already well known.
You know, the moon is rusting.
I've heard about it.
So there's this kid that took like the most high quality picture of the moon ever taken. Over like 2,000 images that he combined. And you can clearly see that the moon is rusting.
Okay.
Or I saw this on NASA. Yeah. Research indicates the presence of hematite, a form of rust that normally requires oxygen and water. This has scientists puzzled. Hematite is a name that is derived from the Greek word meaning blood. Joel 2, it says, the sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood, and it shall come to pass that everyone who calls in the name of the Lord shall be saved, as the Lord has said, and among the survivors shall be those whom calls.
That's weird.
It's throughout scripture, the moon turning to blood, and like, what does that mean? So like the Bible, it was ultimately translated into Greek at one point, right? And the Greek word for blood is hematite, the same word that they use for this rust.
Yeah.
And so it's like the moon has hematite on it.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's all gonna end soon, so you better.
End times is coming, my friends.
The two biggest questions about happiness in life are what? Do you love your career? And do you love your partner? Who you spending your life with? Are you happy with them? If you love your job and hate your wife, you're gonna be 50% happy. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I don't. If you love your wife and hate your job, you're gonna call out every day. If you hate your wife and hate your job, you're a miserable mofo. But if you love your wife and love your job, even if you make $50,000 a year, $30,000 a year, you're the happiest person in the world because you love what you do and you love who you go home to. Amen. The more peace you have, the less money matters.
Thanks. Because you see celebrities who are making a grip of money that committed, that's all I'm going to say, I can't say other words, but celebrities who you didn't even like smile all the time, but we know that was a mask. Had all that money, fame, cars, clothes, shoes, had all that stuff, and are no longer here on this earth because it's not the money. It's more to life than the money. They make us chase the money, and then we'll look up and be like, "Wow, this is vain." Me saying the vain word reminded me of the scripture. I believe it's in Ecclesiastes. Was it Solomon or was it was Solomon. I always get Solomon and Samson confused. Don't ask me why, I have no clue. I think because their names start with S's. But he was explaining how all these things that he did, he would look up and be like, it's vain. It's vain. He'd be like, you'll do this. And at the end of the day, it's vain. It's vain. It's vain. So that just reminded me of that. Is that happiness does not come from like things, but it really is from like within, like, it's not from materialistic things, the temporary, like your happiness really is from the inside, the eternal, the stuff that, you can't see. Thank you.